Good morning everybody and welcome back for another video. We start today's video with further information from the hard fork which never happened for Constantinople, and apparently now it's going to be late Feb. So I will read. Core developers of Ethereum have postponed the activation of Constantinople hard fork until late February. The upgrade is now set to be implemented at ETH blocks 7,280,000 as announced by team lead Ethereum Peter Zilagagi, sorry, not too sure, in a tweet Jan 18th. So they're looking at the in an announcement, Zilagagi explained that the activation will take place on block number 7,7.28 million, which is expected to be mined on 27th of Feb. The upgrade will reportedly be implemented as a single fork on mainnet and a post-Constantinople fix-up fork on the testnets to get them back in line feature-wise on the main network. So we've been waiting apparently 3-4 years, maybe 3 years for Constantinople. Just over a month. Is it a big deal? No, as long as they get these things right and, aren't rushing it because of price of Ethereum or pressure in the project. We want them to get it right. They obviously discovered a vulnerability in one of the EIPs. I think it was 1283. And that could potentially mean funds being stolen. I watched or listened to a video which was a very good point someone made, that Bitcoin takes a long time to make any changes to its network, and its core is never going to change. Only other side chains are going to be built on it. So the fundamental is always correct. So the integrity is correct, and in technology, integrity of a database or a system is paramount for its survival. And we want them to get this right, and I don't mind if there's a month's delay, and nor should other people, and nor should people who invested in Ethereum mind about this. It will happen. Hopefully it's not going to be like a month and another month and another month, but we're delaying, which is good. It's worse to implement and then have to backtrack or have a hack, which is only going to reduce Ethereum's price. So we can all just set our clocks again, or our countdown timers, from the 16th, obviously, to the end of Feb now. But obviously I don't want to read too much into this. It's good that everybody's working together, and let's see what happens. And on the back of this, hopefully they'll have some more development like Casper, which hopefully could be this year. Is going to hopefully push up Ethereum's price. So what do you guys think of this? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it just yet another delay in Ethereum's roadmap, or are we nearly there? What do you guys think? Anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about our favorite topic, ETF. So crypto analyst Brian Kelly, in quotations, no shot for Bitcoin ETF in 2019. Yes, probably. Crypto entrepreneur and regular contributor to CNBC, Brian Kelly claimed that there is no chance for a Bitcoin exchange traded fund approved in 2019. Kelly made his remarks in an interview with Cointelegraph at Crypto Finance Conference, Switzerland, Jan 18th. Let's have a look what his quotation is, and I'll read, and he quotes: "Probably in 2019, the focus will be on currencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, some of those, because we have quite a bit of geopolitical tension in the world." Yep. We're starting to see some global macro players use Bitcoin as an alternative to their gold position. Fantastic news. Or as a way to hedge against fiat fluctuations and volatility. Fantastic, yes. According to Kelly, in 2019, we'll see Bitcoin become more accepted asset amongst mainstream investors. Great news. However, when asked about the likelihood of a Bitcoin ETF receiving governmental approval this year, Kelly said there is no shot. The approval of a Bitcoin ETF, an investment fund, would track the value of the underlying asset. Yes, we know about this. So he doesn't actually go on to say anything else. Okay, so there is too much that is unresolved, according to analysts. It will take more than a year to settle the existing issues. I think we've waited already 4 years, another year. I mean, yes, at the moment we're in day 24 of the shutdown. Once the government reopens, hopefully this year, side note, I watched a documentary about the governmental workers in the US who are not getting paid. Not good, not good at all. These guys are, losing a lot of money, and they're missing paycheck to paycheck, and mortgage companies aren't really helping them, and nor are other sort of telephone and credit card companies. So, on the side of that, it's not good what's going on for these individuals. They work hard for the government. They're obviously proud to be government workers, and they're not getting paid. But I don't get too political on this channel. But once the government does reopen at some point, let's just say it reopens 1st of Feb, they're going to have such a backlog, and nobody's holding their breath on the ETF. We just want the backed approval on CFTC, but there's probably still a lot of work to be done. I did read a report or an article about another exchange who are kind of doing a hybrid between crypto or Bitcoin and US dollar. So there's going to be a bit of better support or custody with that. So whether there'll be a new round of companies applying for ETFs, I don't know that. But the ones which are pending, nobody's holding their breath on this. Will it happen in 2019? Nothing really points to that apart from potentially one, which is, like I said, it's a hybrid. These guys potentially will get rejected eventually. We might see a price drop in the price of Bitcoin if Backed isn't launched by then. And now, we're looking at Backed. I was saying I'd already be talking about Backed in March, and it might end up being in March now, because apparently it takes a month for the CFTC to approve, this or their process. And again, if the government opens up on the 1st of Feb for tense purposes, then it won't be until the 1st of March that Backed starts. So, the only reason why they're saying they don't have a date in mind is they're still waiting for the government to reopen. Along with this, I don't see this getting approved. It is going to get rejected. I think this is the last time. I think this gets rejected, and they have to refile for a new ETF. So whether new companies come into it or offer something else, it doesn't look very promising for ETF, and that's why I don't really like talking about ETF too much, because nobody's holding their breath on that. Whereas with the Backed and that sort of side of it, and obviously the New York Stock Exchange and Fidelity and other sort of crypto exchange markets, they have more potential than this. So not that unsurprising. Not that surprising, I should say, but not the best of news, because we're just hoping, a small inkling, we're hoping that maybe something might happen. Maybe this potential conspiracy of the government trying to not allow Bitcoin ETF may have got overturned somewhere, but no, unless the SEC read this and they approve it, which is unlikely in both ways. And I believe there's one member of the SEC who is pro crypto, but unfortunately everybody around her is probably not too knowledgeable on cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin and what it can do for their country, and what would it mean if they were the first ones to do it globally, like the US to do it, a big player compared to smaller countries who are doing it, like Switzerland or Malta or Japan or wherever. But this just gives more motivation for other countries to get theirs in order and get their ETF to get approved. Imagine if they did it in the UK, or a couple of EU countries did it, or Korea did it, and others followed suit. Then the US would be left behind. If they're going to wait another year, by 2020, we might have a few ETFs around the globe, and people can go and invest in there, as long as there's no sort of legal implications of them doing that. Let me know what you guys think. Is it that surprising? Did we already know this was a foregone conclusion? Don't need really a crystal ball to predict that it wasn't going to get approved in Feb. If it's not been approved all the other months, and nothing's really changed. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. There's a surprising thing. People think that ICO the Dead raised more $160 million in the first half of January. Wow. Seriously, wow. I thought this was done with. ICO's initial coin offering completed its first half of January have raised 160 million. That's not even the end of the Jan. Crazy. The figure was provided by a report by ICO rating service ISObench shared with Cointelegraph on January the 18th. ICOs completed by Jan 5th have managed to raise about 33% of the combined amount raised in the previous month of December. Half of that sum was secured by just one project, the report notes. Okay, so 80 million around. So what was really raising it? In January, the combined hard cap, the max amount of money that a project can secure from ICO investors during ICO amounts to more than 4 billion, as per the project. 3 fundraisers out of the 5 largest this month have reached or almost reached their hard caps. Wow. Let's have a look. There's a good map here actually. So in the United States and in Canada, they 18 million. The US 100,000, maybe because it's not really a big thing. The UK 4.9 million. Estonia, wow, 552 million. Netherlands 10.8 million, and Israel 3.5. Top countries by amount of completed ICOs. Wow, okay. What's going on in Canada? In terms of the amount of funds raised, Canada has been leading during the first half of the month, which combined a figure of 18 million. However, when it comes to the actual number of projects, the Netherlands rank first. Yeah. Wow. Clearly, there's no relenting on ICOs, basically. And this goes back to my previous video about investing and being careful of what you're investing in. I mean, we all knew about ICOs and scams, and the government was really clamping down hard on them. I think they're banned in Korea, and they're banned in other countries because they just seem to breed fake white papers, scamming people out of money. So good to see that there's still a lot of money involved in ICOs, but are hoping these are legitimate projects, and I hope the people who are involved in this, as in the ones who invested, have done their research into these projects, and I really hope the ones who are touting these projects are legitimate and truthful in their claims or what they expect their projects to do. We had a lot of dodgy ICOs in 2017, 2018, and nobody wants, well, I certainly don't want anyone to get scammed in the crypto market and leave the crypto market. We want people to stay. It's all about longevity in this market. We don't want, people making a buck and running away. It's immoral. It's not good for the economy, and we're supposed to be better than the traditional market. So again, stay safe out there. Please read white papers, do research before you invest in. Look out for keywords like guaranteed return or better than Bitcoin, faster than Ethereum, 10 times better, or more partners than XRP. So let's see where we are on the end of the year in terms of money raised. But on this rate, you're looking at over $1 billion again in ICO funding. Well, more than that if this is only the first half of Jan. On that sort of trajectory, you're looking at around $2 to $3 billion by the end of the year. So yeah, very interesting year for ICOs again. But be careful out there, guys, and let's move on. So here's an interesting article for people who are not big fans of Bitcoin Cash. So did Bitcoin Cash fail? I've heard people call it Bitcoin, but I'll leave it for another day. 500 days since the fork, it looks like it did. Nearly 17 months after the contentious fork that gave birth to Bitcoin Cash, it may be safe to say that the entire purpose of the fork may have been defeated, rendering Bitcoin Cash as little more than just an altcoin. An examination of the available 500 plus days worth of data on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain shows that despite the impassioned arguments of big promises made about the 8 megabyte block size, it never came close to filling out this capacity. Data from Coinmetrics show that Bitcoin Cash still remains far behind Bitcoin, not only on proportional terms, but also in absolute terms, as both miners and consumers have overwhelmingly chosen to remain with Bitcoin, notwithstanding a couple of brief spikes in the market that has delivered its verdict over the course of 17 months. Bitcoin remains king. So let's see where Cash sits. Yes, a couple of months where obviously I was just after the fork and over Jan, but majority of it Bitcoin king. Did we expect anything else. So what was it? 2000 and end of 2017, Bitcoin Cash came into life. Roger Ver was, the component who was touting it better than Bitcoin, calling it the real Bitcoin, blah blah blah. And if you look about it now, yes, of course, it's still fairly high on the market cap in terms of being a top 10 coin, but that doesn't mean it's going to survive. And this doesn't help the market, and this goes on to Bitcoin Cash SV or Satoshi's vision, which I hope will just die off, really, because in my opinion, no disrespect to the people who created it, I'm sure they had their own vision or whatever they wanted to do, but you're ruining the market. Bitcoin is supposed to be 21 million. That's it. Now you've got Bitcoin Cash, 21 million. Then you've got Bitcoin Cash SV, 21 million. Investors are going to look at this and thinking, well, we're investing in gold, and there's a gold replica, which is exactly the same as gold, but not as good as the original because it doesn't have its infrastructure in place, it hasn't got support in place, but it's still around. They can't devalue Bitcoin. So imagine if we didn't have Bitcoin Cash and we didn't have Bitcoin Cash SV, and Bitcoin Cash SV, we believe, caused a dip in the market or a major drop in the market. And the money that people threw into Bitcoin Cash, they would have thrown into Bitcoin. So where would we be today without Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV? Would we be over $10,000? Yes. Would we be over $20,000? I don't know that side of it, but we would certainly be way, way higher than where we are now in terms of price, because everybody would have thrown their money back into Bitcoin and not spread it against two other coins. Has it got real world solutions that Bitcoin doesn't do? Once Bitcoin gets Lightning Network up and running and it's really moving forward like 16,000% or 1,600% at a time increase in nodes for Lightning Network, and other companies will set up Lightning Network payment distributions, Bitcoin Cash will be left in the dust. When we talk about talking about Bitcoin, talk about Bitcoin ETF, the only reason you hear Bitcoin Cash, like for example Grayscale, are funding Bitcoin Cash is because if they hold 1% of Bitcoin and there was a fork last year, then obviously it's going to be they now hold Bitcoin Cash because they were rewarded it. So now they think, okay, we've got Bitcoin Cash, we've got, I don't know, like 100,000 Bitcoin Cash. We'll use that to trade with. But they did it by proxy, I guess, by having the legacy of cash, which is Bitcoin. So will we see Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash SV in 5 years' time? I don't think Bitcoin Cash SV will see in 5 years' time. Nobody's supporting it. Lost the battle with Cash for the naming rights. There aren't many people who are talking about it anymore. I don't really see articles on it anymore. The guy who claims he's Satoshi, I even forget his name now. It's not really been seen in terms of articles that I found anywhere, and it also led to a negative sort of spats on the market of Roger Ver, talking down against Bitcoin, and so was the creator or co-creator of Bitcoin Cash SV, just arguing amongst themselves like children, and we just needed to grow up in that market a bit, and hopefully in 5 years' time we're going to have less coins. That's pretty much, in my opinion, guaranteed. A lot of these projects will fail. They don't have real world solutions. People will take their money out and hopefully throw their money back into the good coins, the ones who've got a good potential in terms of real world solutions. But what do you guys think? Is Bitcoin Cash as bad as I say it is? Is it pointless? Does anybody still trade with Bitcoin Cash? I'll be honest, I had Bitcoin Cash. I sold it. I put it back into Bitcoin, which is for me, the true king. Will it be king forever? Probably not. Something else will come up. But it's the original. It's the most stable. It's the most secure. Anyway, let me know what you think. And please like and subscribe. And have a lovely Saturday, whatever you're doing. Here, it looks like it's going to rain. Wherever you are, I hope it's sunny and you're enjoying yourself. Have a fabulous weekend. And I'll see you on the next video, guys. Peace.